This is the story of a fisherman named John who sets out daily with his small boat to catch fish in the sea. But today, something unusual happens. A thick fog suddenly envelops everything, reducing visibility to zero. Lost and disoriented, John spots an abandoned boat while drifting aimlessly. Curious, he ties his boat to it and decides to investigate. The moment he steps aboard, he's stunned. The entire vessel is completely empty, with no people, no sounds, just an eerie, mysterious silence. When John boarded that mysterious boat, everything seemed perfectly normal. Fresh food, neatly arranged clothes, and signs of human presence everywhere, but nobody was there. He tries to start the boat, but the engine won't work. Seeing a lonely, empty boat in such a vast ocean leaves John. He tries looking around with binoculars. Maybe someone's nearby, but thick fog had covered everything. Frustrated, he returns to the control room and turns on the radio there, intending to send a help signal. John sent a message on the radio. "This boat is stranded at sea. If anyone's listening, please respond." After sending the message, he thought he should return to his small boat, but when he came out, his boat wasn't there, even though he'd tied it securely. His surprise grew when he saw the surrounding fog had suddenly cleared and the sky was completely open. It was now noon. John couldn't understand what was happening. Seeing no other way back, he returned to the same empty ship and started. John now tries to understand where he is and how he. The problem was that the mysterious boat's engine was broken. If he wanted to survive, he had to fix the engine some. He searches the entire ship for a toolbox, and after hard work, fixed. It was a huge relief for him. Now the boat was running and he was slowly starting to understand the direction. But the danger. John goes to the control room and tries the radio again, but this time too, no one. Everything was still shrouded in mystery. Then the boy comes up and suddenly needs to use the toilet. Since there wasn't one nearby, he thinks he'll do it in the ocean. As soon as he goes to the edge, suddenly someone pushes him from behind. He falls straight into the water. The situation was extremely dangerous, but he somehow saved himself from drowning by grabbing the reel. The pressure of wind and water was so intense that getting back to the boat became difficult, but he didn't give up. He gathered courage and slowly, using the reel, pulled him. In the midst of all this, when he couldn't finish his business, he headed back to the toilet. Just as he reached downstairs, someone suddenly slammed the door shut. John initially thought it was just the wind and ignored it, but when he tried to exit, he found the door locked from inside. Now shocked, he tried everything to open it, even using a coin from his pocket to jimmy the lock, but all efforts failed. He began to feel he wasn't alone on this ship. Someone invisible was messing with him, constantly present. It felt like someone was playing a cruel game with him. He shouted loudly, "Please, whoever you are, open the door. I'm not a thief, I'm just here to look around." But no answer came. Realizing help was futile, he walked to the cabin and went in. What he saw there made his soul tremble, bloodstains everywhere. It was a terrifying scene, but he ignored his fear and grabbed scissors to try opening the door. The lock wouldn't budge. Suddenly, the boat began shaking violently, as if something catastrophic was imminent. John was panicking. His eyes caught a window above. He managed to squeeze through it and looked around. In the distance, a massive cargo ship was heading straight toward his boat. John realized if it hit, everything would be over. He thought about signaling, but had nothing available. Quickly, he removed his shirt and began waving it frantically. So someone from the cargo ship could see him, but sadly, despite all his efforts, nobody noticed him. Now, John had to save his life at any If his boat kept moving forward, it could crash into the cargo ship and everything would be over. Then his eyes fell on a rope hanging near the window. An idea immediately came to his mind. If he used this rope, he might stop the ship. He quickly tied the rope and threw it out to stop the boat's movement. But things got worse. The rope got tangled in the engine fan and pulled him into the bathroom, wrapping around his throat. He started choking. On the verge of death, he showed courage and freed himself. His neck had turned completely red. He had almost died, but managed to save himself at the last moment. The rope stuck in the engine had slowed the ship's speed, but it wasn't enough. The heavy cargo ship still collided with him. The violent impact badly shook his ship, and John fell to the ground unconscious. He had a deep head injury. After a while, when he regained consciousness, he saw the bathroom was filled with water. But the most surprising thing was, it wasn't salty seawater, but completely clear and fresh water. As if someone was deliberately trying to scare him, he breaks down again and begs, "Whoever you are, please let me go." But still, now he was hungry, thirsty, and extremely weak. Somehow he drank water from the bathroom shower, but soon realized the water was finished. Then when he started drinking from the sink, he was shocked. Now the water had turned salty. He immediately understood there was a hole in the boat and seawater was coming in. This boat wouldn't last much longer. He frantically tries to open the door, but it seems someone has locked it from outside. It was nighttime, and it appeared some invisible, perhaps evil force was controlling. The water was rising fast, and John collapsed from exhaustion. At night, a terrible storm hit the sea, which badly damaged the boat, and John was also seriously. In the morning, when his eyes opened, the water had reached head level. He felt only moments remained when suddenly he heard a faint click, as if something unlocked. As John turned the handle, the door burst open with a loud bang. The water pressure was so intense that the door broke off and fell. That's how he managed to escape. Once outside, he went straight to the boat's roof to breathe fresh air, as oxygen below was nearly gone. Now he was certain some invisible force was tormenting him. Physically and mentally broken, with water continuously rising below, John decided he wouldn't stay on this ship. Then an idea struck him. He took airbags from the ship and used the broken bathroom door to craft a small raft. He secured everything tightly so the raft would hold, but needed additional supplies to navigate it. He gathered food, water, and essential tools from the ship and prepared himself. Hours passed, yet neither had he gone far nor had the boat sunk, which he'd expected to go under within minutes. "It'll sink in minutes." She was still in the same state. Then in her mind an idea came. If this boat hasn't sunk yet, why not fix its leak? If that happens, then he can travel comfortably in this strong boat. Thinking this, he went back to the boat. First he fixed the leak, then made a pump from pipes and tools so water could be drained out. With the pump he made, the boat's seawater slowly drained out. After fixing the leak and removing water, he fixed the ship's other problems too, and also repaired outside so there'd be no more trouble ahead. After work was done, he tried the radio for help again, but no answer came this time either. Disappointed, he returned and pulled out the map to understand the route once more. He tried to move the boat forward, but when he started the engine, the boat didn't budge, as if deceiving him again. The boat was perfectly still, as if rooted in water, and this thought was breaking him inside. He was completely exhausted, hopes it was ending, when from a distance he saw another ship approaching. Now he had only one option: reach that ship with his small raft. He quickly jumped on the raft and raced to. But suddenly, the ship changed course and began speeding toward John as if someone had deliberately sent it his way. John increased his speed, but the massive ship moved even faster. Just before it could hit him, John made one final attempt and jumped from his boat to swim toward another vessel that appeared in the distance. But by the time he reached it, the boat had vanished. Then he realized that on this mysterious boat, someone had complete control, preventing his escape. He had decided that even at the cost of his life, he wouldn't return. But as evening fell and the water grew colder while swimming, dolphins swam below, but the temperature had dropped significantly. Unable to endure the cold, he was forced to return. He was so exhausted and ill that he couldn't even think clearly. He simply wrapped himself in a blanket and fell asleep in the room. Morning. When he opened his eyes, he decided to escape from this ship again. But then came another shock. The room door was locked. He panicked and slowly began to break down mentally. Then his eyes spotted a small cabin in the room. As soon as he opened it, he saw a path leading upward, a ventilation shaft he could escape through. He entered the cabin, which was a tight storage area. Every time he tried to climb up from the storage area, he would slip and fall down, suffering many injuries from the falls. But he didn't. Despite falling repeatedly, he finally reached the top again and tried to open the vent window, but it wouldn't budge. It seemed as if it had been deliberately sealed shut. The oxygen was rapidly depleting, making it difficult to breathe. A door below was also locked, and he couldn't return to the room. He felt this might be his final moments, but then he heard that mysterious clicking sound again. As soon as the cabin window opened with a click, John wasted no time stepping outside. The fresh air gave him relief as he noticed that the boat was approaching a small island. Seeing this, hope sparked in his mind that he might finally be free from this terrifying vessel forever. When the boat reached shore, he quickly disembarked, convinced someone on this island was responsible for everything. Angrily, he grabbed a stick and searched the island, but was soon shocked to find no trace of any human presence anywhere. Now John was once again filled with both anger and fear. As he emerged from the island, a new sight appeared before his eyes. The mysterious vessel that had brought him here was now moving through the calm sea as if hunting for new prey. Seeing this, John became completely convinced that both the boat and island were under the control of some malevolent. He knew he had to escape this place at all costs while he still had his life. Continuing his exploration, he reached the highest peak. He reached the high peak and saw another island in the distance, but it was too far to see what was happening there. As John explored the island, he gradually moved toward the back, but when he arrived, his eyes widened. It was the same place where his journey had begun. Everything was exactly the same, his old boat tied at the same spot, and the same people, as if nothing had changed. No, the entire atmosphere was just like before, as if nothing had happened. John stared in disbelief, unable to accept that this nightmarish experience had actually happened to him. But now questions arose. How did his boat get back there, and what was the truth? When John reached the back of the island, he was stunned. The same place, the same boat, the same people, as if nothing had changed. He couldn't believe any of this was real, or just but everything he had endured was the truth.